Curiosity drives me to get out of bed every day. It also drives people mad with my endless questions of why things are the way they are. Why is the sky blue? Why are no two snowflakes ever the same? And why are there salmon in trees? It is this last question I spent several years of my life pursuing. At the start, all I knew was that I needed to go to Alaska, a mind-boggling state in its enormity. The part I needed to go to? The rainforest of Alaska. Not typically what comes to mind when we think of the 49th state. Most of this rainforest is in southeast Alaska, also known as the Inside Passage or the Panhandle of the state. 80% of southeast, everything you see in green, is the Tongass National Forest. With 17 million acres, about the size of the state of West Virginia, the Tongass is our country's largest national forest, and it's home to 1/3 of the world's remaining old-growth coastal temperate rainforest. This is a place where the line is blurred between where the forest ends and the sea begins. So you'll see things here like bears digging for clams on the beaches. Humpback whales cruise right along the forested shorelines. And marbled murrelets, a seabird that nests high in old-growth forests and feeds in the ocean. The Tongass is home to one of the highest densities of brown bears in the world, the highest density of black bears, and the world's largest nesting density of bald eagles. Why so many? Well, there's an abundance of food, particularly salmon. Salmon are born in freshwater streams and rivers. They head out to the oceans to mature, and then they return to their birth streams as adults to spawn the next generation. There are 5,000 salmon spawning streams in the Tongass National Forest, and how each fish finds its way back to the exact stream where it was born has got to be one of the greatest feats of nature. Salmon help grow at least 50 different species, among them bears, stellar sea lions, and Homo sapiens. Salmon help grow the native cultures that have thrived along these forested shores since time immemorial. Salmon grow the local communities. The commercial salmon fishery in Alaska is one of the world's best examples of a sustainable fishery, and it's a critical part of the economy. Salmon also help grow trees. In fact, they are in the trees. Well, how can this be? Well, bears have a lot to do with this. Bears don't like being around other bears, so when they catch a fish, they will often carry it away from the stream and into the woods. Researchers say that one bear can carry 40 fish from a stream in just 8 hours. So let's think about this for a minute. There's 5,000 spawning streams, some of the world's highest densities of both brown and black bears, and millions of wild salmon. You do the math. That adds up to a lot of salmon dragged and dropped into the forest. Other animals scavenge on these carcasses, spreading the nutrients farther throughout the forest. Well, guess what happens? All of this rich fish fertilizer decomposes into the soil, and the trees and other vegetation absorb it through their roots. Scientists have actually been able to trace a particular form of marine nitrogen, comes from the ocean, it's called nitrogen-15. They've been able to trace this in trees near spawning streams, that it's brought by salmon, delivered by bears, and absorbed by plants. That is how salmon end up in the trees. And the trees return the favor by shading the streams, creating protected pools, and feeding insects that then feed the young salmon. So once you understand this remarkable connection between salmon and trees, you quickly see that everything here is still connected. It's astounding in the 21st century. This connection between salmon and trees resulted in my first book, and thanks to Elliott Bay Books, it is out in the lobby. It also really opened my eyes to my own home here in the Pacific Northwest. North America's original coastal temperate rainforest once extended intact all the way from south central Alaska through the Pacific Northwest and down into Northern California. Today, about 44% has been affected by urban development, logging, or farming. So anywhere where you see in red, those original forests are gone. But wait, you ask, we have forests and salmon here, right? Yes, we do, but we have less than 10% of our old-growth forests and historical salmon runs. But we eat salmon here, right? Yes, we do. We love it here. But most wild salmon that we consume here are coming from Alaska. Now, I don't point this out I don't point this out to bum you out. I've spent a lot of time going back and forth between here and Southeast Alaska. The similarities are striking, but so are the differences. Flying north, I'm hurled back to what Washington once was just a mere 150 years ago, a thriving, intact ecosystem. Coming home, I'm thrust back into what could be the future of the Tongass, given enough time. It's why I made the book. There's still time to not make the same mistakes in Alaska that we did here. But what about here? Are we out of time? I don't think so. Will we ever get it all back? I don't think so. But I also didn't think that in my lifetime in our beloved Northwest that we'd see the day when the Elwha dams on the Olympic Peninsula came crashing down. And salmon returning home to that beautiful river as it rewilds itself. The Elwha Dam removal has opened up the very real possibilities of removing other significant barriers to salmon recovery. Can we do this here? I think so. Can the Northwest once again be a place where there are salmon in the trees? Thank you.